Sway in the morning, Shade 45. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a really interesting morning. Good morning, Heather B.
Hey.
Tracy G here, DJ Wonder, OQ the whole. Oh well, OQ's not here today. Mike Muse, DB. Good morning. I'm sure by now everybody heard the news. Citizen of Sway in the morning. Nipsey Hussle was shot and killed yesterday, and it's left us all baffled. You know, Heather and I were communicating yesterday. We really haven't been able to sleep. It's a Grammy-nominated rapper. You know, interesting, really intelligent young man. I've had a chance to sit and talk with him on air and off air. I know his history. I know his background. I know he came up in the rolling 60s area of L.A. He grew up, in a challenged environment. Became a member of gang culture. But then, was able to work his way into a higher vibration, if you will, a higher way of living. One of the things he always talked about doing, and this was according to the city's police commission, Steve Soberoff, was to talk about ways he could help stop gang violence and help them to help kids. And that's exactly the path he was on. He was shot in front of his clothing store, Marathon Clothing, on Crenshaw and Slauson. Crenshaw and Slauson is kind of like right in the middle. It's a nucleus of a lot of different gang territories and a lot of That's exactly where I met J-Rock back in the 90s. Yeah, I used to go out there and try to, reach folks and give them a way to do something different by coming on the radio station I worked for then. And, the details are still coming out. They said he was killed in a shooting outside the clothing store. He and two other people, when the police arrived, were suffering from gun wounds. He was later pronounced dead. What actually happened is still kind of sketchy.
Right.
And I don't even want to speculate on it, unless we have the facts. It's really sad because Nipsey Hussle was ascending to a higher level. If you ask me, as a human being, as a person, giving back to the community that he grew up in, that's to me what everybody's goal used to be when we were coming up, even in Oakland, and you came up hustling. It was hustling to get out and to bring back what it is you learned and what it is you gained and share it. So by him even being there, he did not have to be on Crenshaw and Slauson and open up a business to empower people in the neighborhood and hire people from the neighborhood. Open up a STEM lab, Mike Muse.
Right.
You know what I mean? Science, technology, engineering, mathematics, to teach the kids of the neighborhood, to help give them a different advantage that perhaps he didn't and the people he grew up with had. This man was a husband, to a friend of the show here, Lauren London. He had kids.
Yep.
2 kids. And it's just really sad and baffling that this would happen in L.A. of all places, where this man walks those streets like a king. Is anybody exempt from this type of violence, this type of mentality? And I swear I stayed up. We dealt with a lot of people that come from this culture that been murdered, by people that they know, by people that live in the same neighborhood, by people that come from the same culture. And last night I couldn't even sleep thinking about it. I actually dreamt about it. I haven't watched any of those videos that's been circulating around the devil box of, social media. I don't even watch that. But I'm baffled. I just, don't understand. I feel so much sorrow for Lauren London.
Indeed.
And his children. I feel so much sorrow for those that were, just in his corner rooting for him. He, to me, is a king of the streets, what he was able to ascend to become an owner and to bring proprietorship back into the neighborhoods to help elevate the neighborhood. And it's the neighborhood, that same neighborhood, apparently, that it seems like that took his life. I want to focus on what made him so beautiful today. You know, I want to focus on the positive. I don't want to focus on so much what happened in the incident in the tragedy too much. You know, I know a lot of folks tuned in want to talk about it, and you know, use this show as therapy. You know, if you want to say something, you can. 888-742-3345. I don't really have a plan on how we're gonna deal with it, but I do want to send our love, our prayers, our support to his family, his friends, those who were impacted by Nipsey, to us. This ain't easy. You know, his kids, you know, it's just kind of hard. You and I, we were communicating last night.
We were communicating last night about it, and I think for me, the sorrow that's on my heart is that, I mean, I ain't never killed nobody, so I'm just trying to understand what happens to us when you go into your mind premeditated like this, and all these things that you just named about this beautiful man and this great spirit, that you walk up to somebody and you shoot somebody's father, somebody's husband, somebody's son, somebody's uncle, somebody's all these different things, the generations that you affect when you do something like this. For what, Sway? Like you said, we don't even know, but let's just throw out revenge, retaliate. Let's do for what? Like, my heart is so heavy, and I'm absolutely speechless. I just don't know what to say. And like you said, unfortunately, you and I have been there for the Biggies, for the Tupacs, for the Big L's, for these murders, not just random, some people pass away, for these murders that happen. And this just, to me, just seems like not real. Like just not real.
Yeah, it's my daughter and I was talking last night. And she's from LA.
Right.
And she couldn't really put it together. She was like, Daddy, I don't get it. Like, he's employing people in that same neighborhood. You know, he did exactly what he said he was going to do in his music and buy back the hood. You know, how does this even happen? Shouldn't he, you know, be one of the ones that are protected? Like, because of what he's giving back?
Like, immune from it. It's just, I couldn't sleep either. I was going to hit you back last night, but I just figured, I think we would have just been on the phone silent, because it's no words for this one, man. It ain't no words for this. Jam Master Jay. We just had Shaheem and Rahman here still trying to get some answers to something, and this is years. This don't make sense no more, Sway. It don't make sense. People got kids, man. People got kids.
Ermias Ashkadum. That's his name.
Birth name, yeah.
That's his birth name. And we're going to celebrate him.
Absolutely.
I got a good friend of mine that I was talking with him on the line. We spent a lot of time on the line just to get some, you know, I don't know, man, just to. In fact, we were on the line last night when we was both trying to confirm if it happened or not. What was happening? I got Muggs on the line from Inglewood. Muggs, good morning.
Hey, Muggs.
Good morning. Good morning, y'all.
You know, Muggs, how you know, you and I were talking last night, and one of the things that baffled us is, how do they touch a king, though? You know, Nipsey had ascended to kingdom, you know, in my opinion, what he was doing and giving back to the hood.
Absolutely.
Man,
absolutely.
What is, I mean, to you, who was Nipsey Hussle? Like, seeing the things that he was doing, you're always in the community. You're always talking to me about community. Who was Nipsey Hussle to you, bro?
Man, first of all, you know, Nip, man, it's a cold thing that happened to the brother, man. He was a young brother, man, that was a little homie. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't from my neighborhood. You know, actually, you know, Nip's neighborhood and our neighborhood in Inglewood, you know, was rivals back in the days. You know what I mean? With the gang shit. And, you know, of course, you know, we all outgrown that shit. You know, a lot of us have. And, you know, just seeing the little brother, every time I seen him, it was love and respect. You know what I mean? He'd see me, hey, OG, what's up, big homie? You know, we was there last February, you know, at his Alba release dinner, you know, with you and Kelly and You know, a lot of the
Tech
crew
Nine.
there, man.
Yeah, we were
Tech
all there.
Nine,
Yeah.
we were all there, man, and it was love, you know, and 20 years ago it would never be that with somebody from that area, but Nip was doing stuff, man, for low income people, for the gangs and all the little young up and coming rappers and big rappers, Bloods and Crips love this dude, man. He was a good dude, man. Like you said, a king. He was the Tupac of these young people's era, man. And it's like reliving that Tupac Biggie shit all over. You know.
That's the feeling that I've been trying to. I never thought I'd feel that way again.
Right.
Muggs, whatever, however you could shed some light. We gotta, we have to acknowledge gang culture is still prevalent in L.A. That's just something that's just a part of the DNA of L.A. But is anybody exempt? I mean, when the hood sees that this dude is giving jobs, investing back in people into the community. I mean, nobody's exempt, Muggs.
And you know what's Sway? In this gang shit out here in LA, it's we eat each other from inside, and it's, to me, I don't know what happened. Man. I was not too far from there, where my sister lived, and I heard all the drama and all the bullshit going on, and it's like, Nip was over there doing his thing and giving back to the community. He was over there at his business, that he had in the community, employing people. And, when the gang banging out here, man, I don't care who you are. I mean, me, Nip, whoever, man, when you gang banging out here and it's on in the neighborhoods, they don't stop and say, hey, man, get up out of here. We finna come, spray this whole place. They just come and doing their thing. But to me, that incident with Nip, this is my personal, it just seemed like it was personal, man. They shot the brother in the head and shot him 5 or 6 more times. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what was that? It wasn't a drive-by, man. It was like up close and personal, and I don't understand what happened, man. It's gonna come out though. I guarantee, because the streets out here, they talk. And believe me, it's gonna come out, man. And whoever did that, man, they gonna reap what they sowed. That wasn't cool, man. That dude was on a righteous path, man. And like I said, he was always a solid dude, man. And so many people, man, Bloods, Crips, Latino, everybody loved that dude, man. They loved that dude, and I talked to one of his big homies, man, via text last night, and that hurt them really bad. Not on the gang thing, just what he was doing with his entrepreneurial stuff,
He was empowering folks, man. That, to me, that's the ultimate goal. Is
he was,
empowerment, and he was bringing education that the hood doesn't have, to give our kids the advantages that other kids have from other communities. Is what he was doing. I'm not even going to try to pretend like I understand the gang politics. I know a lot of folks don't think it was gang related. They think it was, you're hearing all kind of theories because he was doing a documentary about Dr. Sebi, and they, I'm hearing all, people think the government was involved.
I heard about that conspiracy theory. Man, I don't even get to that, man.
I don't get it. Yeah.
Man, that man is like, it's crazy. It's baffling to me, man. It's like dudes from my neighborhood that's in the rap game and shit, they fucked up, man. They like, damn, Nip. They had a lot of love for this dude, man, because you don't know the history of his neighborhood and our neighborhood, man. It was horrible, the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, and this rap stuff and a lot of stuff changed, because I'm cool with a lot of his partners over there, man. That would never have been back in the day. So people scratch their head like, damn, y'all cool with them dudes, because it's, some of my homies, they still full throttle active, but man, fuck that, man. We got to come together and kill or dead all that shit, man.
Is that possible, Is that possible, though? Because you got guys like you and generals that are walking around and see a different light now. Is it even possible? Because I think that's what it's going to take. Is that possible, Muggs, to come people, to eradicate this whole way of living and thinking? At least
it's gonna take it takes a village, man. It's gonna take a lot of work. I mean, it's still fully active, man, in some parts of the city, man. And I could fuck with some brothers from everywhere, but my homies be like, fuck that, fuck them. I'm not fucking with them. I'm still over here. I'm still active, and I got a few young homies that I have that, the way I feel about this shit now, it penetrates and it trickles down to them. And, they got to take it back to the homies that's still over there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not over there hugging my stop sign and on the block no more, but, I give back by, taking a few of my homies with me and, talking to them and saying, fuck that. Because, Sway, when I was coming up as a youngster in this gang shit, I didn't have a big homie like myself saying, hey, stop that. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So they blessed, really, they don't see it yet, some of them do, to have a big homie like me saying, stop that, don't do that. My big homies was fully engulfed in that shit in the 70s. I've been around in the gang shit, since 75. You know what I'm saying? So that's a long time. And my big homies at 75, they was the first generation. So it was on and cracking. So I didn't get that luxury of somebody telling me, sit your ass down, don't do that, and don't go over there, and don't be tripping with them dudes.
Mm-hmm.
It was like it's on with everybody that ain't wearing our color. You know what I'm saying? Now, once, like I always say, man, when I was a baby, I used to shit on myself. But I learned you don't supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? You wipe your ass and you clean yourself up. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, I was ignorant and brain dead to the gang shit, man. But, I wouldn't change nothing that I did back in the days, man, because it was a learning process.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And now I can teach a lot of the youngsters, and I have affected and teach a lot of youngsters by example in what I'm doing, man. And, I feel obligated that I got to give back and tell these brothers, man, hey, man, let's cut this shit out.
Muggs,
you know what I mean?
I totally know what you mean. And I think with people, a lot of the issues are, well, how do we get out of this state of inertia, where we're going through this cyclical behavior generation after generation, but we're not having any advancement. And then you'll see a person like let's say a Top Dog or a Jay-Z or a Nipsey Hussle who takes it a step further and learns how to live in a legitimate world and create platforms where people can make even more money than they do in the streets. Therefore, eliminating the excuses why we can't get what we want. These dudes are creating platforms so you could funnel those who don't see a light at the end of the tunnel through this platform. I mean, Nipsey was creating the blueprint of, hey, man, this is how we could rise above this by buying that property over in Crenshaw and Slauson, man. That's a hotbed, and he bought his property right in the nucleus of it all and felt comfortable enough to be there with his child and with his family and be there shaking hands in the whole nine. And it's almost like we took it away from ourselves, when we do this.
It's where, and I always tell Tech, man, and E40 all the time, like, all those things that you said is absolutely true, but as well as I know, as well as the whole Sway in the Morning family, man, it's never enough. It's never enough, man. You know what I mean? You could be with your buddies over there, and you come up and you extend and do the things that Nip did. It's still some of your so-called homies, your frenemies, the friendly enemies. It's never enough because they feel, oh, fuck that nigga, he ain't doing nothing for us. Like, you can't help everybody, but it's just never enough, man. It's never enough. Even, with the shit that I do, man, it's just never enough. I'm not crazy to the fact that, I can't help everybody, but, people feel that they're left behind, but most of us got to get up and get on their job just like we do, man. I'm not giving nobody nothing because I don't owe nobody nothing but myself. You know what I mean?
Hold on the line with us for a second, Muggs. I'm going to take a few calls, man. I got Mark from Texas on the line. Good morning, Mark.
Mark, good morning.
Hey, how y'all doing, man? I just want to say, man, I remember Heather calling me a while back. Heather been right about a lot of shit, man. I feel like we think the same. And I remember her saying, man, Nip need to be careful because of the way.
Say it again. Mark?
Moving to the point. Can you hear me?
Now, repeat that, Nick.
Hello?
You said Nip needs to be careful because of what?
I said, I feel like Heather been calling it for a long time. Heather said it a while back that he needs to be careful, and I felt like we was thinking the same thing at the same time because he was doing so much good stuff and building up his community. And I just feel like, why can't we put some of these Nation of Islam type niggas around these people when we know for a fact it could be a problem or it could be something coming down the line because they're doing so much good stuff and helping us get on our feet. You know what I'm saying?
Muggs, what do you think about that? Why aren't, and like, if he's, what do you think about that? How do we protect our kings like a Nipsey Hussle?
Man, Sway, you know me and you. We talk a lot, brother. We talk a lot about the same shit, man. It's just so fucked up in the streets, man. Like you can have the brothers from the nation, and this one kamikaze motherfucker, man, that'll just throw a boomerang and shit, man. It come just like I say, when it's owned in neighborhoods, because Nip. I don't know where he lived, but I don't think he lived over there in the neighborhood. And, of course, we keep our ears to the street and know certain things will happen. But it's dudes, man, you could be with, and they done just wouldn't kill 3 or 4 dudes in another neighborhood, and they'll come over and eat a sandwich right next to you and don't tell you what they did. And these dudes is coming right back, man. And you didn't tell nobody. You just aired out some dudes, like. And if, with that being said, the brothers from the nation could be there doing these things that the brother talking about, and here come these so-called enemies coming back, just airing y'all out. It just goes back and forth. It's just crazy. Man. We could talk about how to heal this shit and do it and correct the problem till we blue in the face, man. But it's gonna always be 1 or 2 dudes they're not with it. They're not with it, man, and we just got to keep on working at it, man. I don't have the answer.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, thanks for your call, man. I appreciate it. We have Andy on the line. Good morning, Andy.
Hey, Andy.
Andy, you there?
It's Anthony.
Anthony, how you doing? What's happening, Anthony?
I'm doing well, man. I live probably about an hour and a half away, but I got one of my fraternity brothers who lives down the street from where this happened. And him and his, 7-year-old were just there 2 hours before that. Wow. And then he had to go back because his sister-in-law got stuck in traffic. So he had to drive back through the streets to pick her up just because it's so crazy. And he was telling me that, in the group chat that people are in the streets just crying.
Yeah.
And, another one of our profiles said, anytime we get a really good black leader that can do something to uplift the community, something happens to him, whether it's political or whatever the case may be. I don't want to get into too many conspiracy theories, but, that's kind of where my head goes. Like, we get these people who can do so much for the community, and then something like this happens.
Yeah. We're going to touch on this morning. We have to, and we're also going to play some things because I actually I don't even watch our interviews on much, Anthony, by the way, thank you for your call.
Thank you, Anthony.
But I was looking at one of the last interviews we did, and we were talking to Nipsey about Victory Lap, but just even the slogans behind his music. Mm-hmm. Like if you go back and listen to all the mixtapes he's done, from Crenshaw to ones before that, on the Slauson mixtapes, all these different mixtapes, he always had a great way of intertwining what goes on in reality and also how to rise above that. And he gave clues and he gave remedies to how you could better yourself. And he always had a positive outlook, in my opinion, on something that could easily be considered negative. And this is when he came by and he was talking about the meaning of the album titled Victory Lap. victory lap to me, is that an acknowledgement of, you know, the things you've been trying to put together for all these years, you feel like you've accomplished, now you taking your victory lap and on to the next, or is it something else to that?
Yeah, I think that you said it right.
Mm-hmm.
It's about, obviously we not done. That's not what it represents, us celebrating prematurely. Nah, it just mean that young person that was in the street trying to get into music and the goals that I had from that point of view and how I wanted to go about doing it represent me accomplishing those things. You know, now my goals is more so of a person in a position of success and in a position of power and as a musician and as an artist and as an entrepreneur, not as a teenager trying to figure my life out and trying to, you know, avoid the penitentiary and avoid, you know, what goes on in LA and what gang culture offers you. So that's what I'm celebrating. You know what I mean? That we came full circle.
Sway in the morning on Shade 45.
I'm prolific, so gifted. I'm the type that's gon' go get it, no kidding. Breaking down a switch in front of your building. Sitting on the steps feeling no feelings. Last night it was a cold killing. You gotta keep the devil in his hole, nigga. But you know how it go, nigga. I'm front line every time it's on, nigga. 100 pro flow, running shoot pro. 458 drop, playing bulletproof soul. Every few shows I just buy some new gold. Circle got smaller, everybody can't go. Downtown Diamond District, jewelers like yo. Hustle, holla at me, I got Cubans on the low. Through the Cancun, smoking Cubans on the boat. Then dock that Tulum just to smoke. Look, listening to music at the Mayan ruins. True devotion on the bluest ocean. Cruising, my cultural influence, even revolution. I'm integrated vertically, y'all niggas blew it. They tell me hustle, dumb it down, you might confuse them. This ain't that weirdo rap you motherfuckers used to. I'm a urban legend, South Central in a certain section. Can't express how I curb detectives. Guesses, evidence of a divine presence. Blessings, held me down at times I seem reckless. Effort, you got an L but got an E for effort. Stretched it, dropped him off in the Mojave Desert, then left him. Ain't no answer to these trick questions. Money making nip, straighten out my jewelry on my bitch dresser. Well known, flick up in jail clothes, snatch a champagne bottle from Rico's till T-shows. Whatever, nigga, playing chess, not checkers, nigga. 38 special for you clever niggas. See, bro, if you ain't living down by the street code, been through all these motions up and down like a seesaw, I can never view you as my equal. Fuck, I wanna hear your CD fault. I'm finna take it there. This time around, I'ma make it clear. Spoke some things into the universe and they appear. I say it's worth it, I won't say it's fair. Find your purpose or you wasting air. Fuck it though, y'all niggas scared. Eyes open, I can see it clear. They don't make them bar none, they don't make them real. They don't make it where I'm from, they don't take it here. They ain't seeing due time, I be making meals. Bossed up in this game, I've been making deals. Get your lawyer on the phone, we can make it real. I got checks and balance, I flex dramatic. Another 50 on my neck, just my reckless habit. Ain't no pussy on my rap, disrespect the savage. I make one phone call and the rest get handled. It's just another front step with candles. Little message from the set, we accept your challenge.
Kelly and I, matter of fact, was at the Hollywood Palladium.
Yeah.
And we flew in town, worked here Thursday morning and caught the first flight out because the homie Quincy White, a.k.a. Dub, said he was going to hit the stage with Nipsey Hussle.
Yes, sir.
I said, Kelly, book the tickets.
That part.
Let's go see that. Plus, I haven't seen Nipsey Hussle live in L.A.
Yeah.
Man, when you see Nipsey Hussle live in L.A., that's like seeing Eminem in Detroit.
That's big. That's a great. I'm in great company there, man. That's what's up. Hey, man, that was a big night too. That was the album release concert. So it was And it was All-Star Weekend, so the energy was on the next level that night.
You brought out, I saw YG backstage.
Yep.
Who all did you bring out on stage?
Man, we brought YG, we brought Puff, we brought Mozzie, we brought Marsha, we brought Quincy White, a.k.a. Dub. We had 1500 as the band. James Harden came through. He ain't performed, obviously, but you know what I'm saying? He came through and showed love. I brought my daughter out. That was my favorite guest of the night. You know what I'm saying? She finished the set with me.
Sway in the Morning, Shade 405. We're just talking about Nipsey Hussle. If I think most people have heard by now that he was murdered. He was shot and killed yesterday in front of his clothing store, which is called Marathon Clothing. And people are just, dealing with it, baffled, confused, hurt, in pain. And we're just talking through it today. It's a little bit of therapy. I got my brother Muggs on the line. He's actually from out that way, just giving us some insight on that culture down in L.A., Muggs.
Yeah.
Muggs.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you were still there. When was the last time you saw, if you could recall, last time you talked to Nipsey?
I seen the brother a few months ago, man. Just moving. You know what I mean? Around over by his way, and he, like I said, it was always in passing. It was just respect, Hey, what's up, OG? What's up, big homie? And we embraced and gave him a hug and a pound, and just said expressions to one another, and kept the line moving. But it was just always respect, man. And if you know the Inglewood and Roller 60 history, man, that's some big shit. Like, people probably, so what? Like, nah, they don't even understand, man. That was like a plague, a no-go with our two neighborhoods. To do that, man, that's big for us. You know what I mean, Sway?
Yeah. No,
that dude was a solid brother, man. And there's some solid brothers around, man. I've done my time in, federal prison and all that, and I've been in there with dudes that's supposed to be that, we think that's our rivals growing up, man. And it was great dudes. Like, who I'm supposed to blame, man? My mama, my daddy for moving on this side of Florence or on this side of Crenshaw. If I was over there, I'd be from there. Like, who was I to blame? Because meeting these brothers inside those institutions, they was just like me. Their parents were just like my parents. And it was like I had time to reflect on all the crazy shit that I've been through, man. And it was like, if I got to go somewhere, man, out in these streets and I got to carry a pistol, man, I'm not going, because them dudes right there, them some solid dudes. They just like me. They just from the other side of the tracks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So God worked through all of us, man, in mysterious ways. And that was one of the pivotal moments, man, that really changed my outlook on, somebody that's supposed to be my enemies, man. That's some bullshit.
The interesting, well, not even interesting, but almost eerie. I know about an hour or so before he passed, one of his last posts, if I could paraphrase it, was having strong enemies is a blessing. And I don't know what that means
Me neither, man.
or what
I've
that
been
means.
trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and then for that to happen, Nipsey was born Ermias Askedom.
I think sometimes, and shout out to you, Muggs. Thank you so much for calling. I think sometimes, people that's doing great things and moving Sway. I'm just one of those people spiritually. I believe that sometimes you just know, you're doing all this work, but it's not in vain. It's for a reason. And, I think we all in our own way have to figure out who our Judases are. And sometimes we know who our Judases are, and you're looking at them every single day, and maybe that tweet was it was a double entendre almost, but we know we're walking amongst these people, but at the same time, we're paying attention. No person that's not aware of their purpose is going around taking pictures with children, Sway, like you mentioned earlier, and STEM situations and employing their people. He had a mission and a purpose. You don't just randomly tweet something like that out. You just don't, not to my belief. And so God bless him, because his spirit and his energy, and just hearing his voice and remembering that energy that he had when he came in the room to talk about his project and how y'all showed up to his show and the dinner and everything. Man, he was elated. He was so happy. He was so happy, but it wasn't in vain.
It wasn't in vain. He
Yeah,
did.
you know. Hey, Sway, let me say something, brother. You know, that tweet, man, me and a couple of my partners, man, from Compton and just around, we was chopping it up. Like, that tweet was, like, mysterious. We like, damn, like, who was he talking to? Like, was that for somebody particular? Like, you know, that was in 30 minutes afterwards this happened? Like, what was that about? You know, we'll never know, you know?
Yeah.
That tweet was something.
Yeah, we're going to celebrate his life, though, Muggs. We're going to celebrate him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for what the 33 years we did get is better than, you know, lifetimes of others, you know. So I want to get this tone of celebratory mode with Nipsey. Heather, you did talk about when he talked about the Muggs was talking about the Victory Lap album release,
Mm-hmm.
and he was really happy when he came by last year to talk about it. Here's Nipsey.
Crenshaw going to obviously marinate with people for a minute. You should definitely let it breathe. But then what's after that?
The album, you know, the album is going to be the third installment in the marathon series. It's called Victory Lap. And I think the title is in perfect context, just with what went on with the Crenshaw release and everything. I've been working on Victory Lap for the last year and a half, you know. And I did more records than I've ever done for any of my projects. I just really wanted to, like, take my craft to the next level. And I was figuring out how I was going to put it out. We was sitting with major labels, sitting with indie distributors, and we was trying to figure out what business model we was going to follow. So, yeah, that's the next move. It's going to be Victory Lap. Yeah, the first single called Rap Niggas, and it's, you know, coming top of the year.
Yeah. That was he was so excited about that.
He was excited,
yeah.
and that's what I remember. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I remember him just having that light in his eye again and just feeling like, yo, Sway is here. Like, it's coming and it's here, and we doing this and we doing that, man. It's just crazy. It's crazy to hear his voice like that, like he's just still sitting right here.
Yeah, he is here, Heather B. His spirit is with us right now. Janae's on the line from Texas. Good morning,
Hey,
Janae.
Janae.
Hey, good morning, everyone. How are y'all?
Doing well. We want to, well, you know, we're doing as well as to be expected. You know, Janae, every morning I used to say, if you woke up this morning, clap your hands because it's a blessing. And it resonates so well right now. You know, if you woke up this morning, celebrate it. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say a couple of things. Like, you know, I'm a hip-hop head, so I've been familiar with Nip, you know, and his music, you know, from the early 2000s when he was just, you know, featured on Corrupt's, you know, songs and stuff like that. And he had a lot of songs, and it seemed like Victory Lap was the album that really, like, brought him more of that fan base and people got more familiar. But I wanted to say, like, aside from just the music, I was a fan of the person that he was and, like, what he stood for, the things that he was doing in the community. Any interview where he was bringing knowledge and, you know, just for this to happen, it's just like a question of why they got to take all our role models, man, like for real. And I ain't never been affected like this other than Tupac, Left Eye, or, you know, Aaliyah. You know, I remember all that. I was born in the 80s, so that was like my era. I couldn't sleep last night. I can't even get on Instagram right now. Like, this really, really affected me. So I just want to let him know, like, his family, to Lauren London, his mom, his whole family, his kids, like, it's people out here that really, really rocked with him and really love him. And, like, we're going to keep that memory alive because we know what it is. And I'm sure if a person like me, I ain't never met him before, but just to have that connection and be this hurt and feel this, I can only imagine what his family going through, you know. So we're going to do our best as just his fan base to just keep that positive. I don't want to hear really nothing about the gang culture. None of that, you know, how the media get the twist and stuff, like, you know, on the news and stuff, because they don't understand. But, you know, I want to just remember the positivity, damn what he did in the past or what he was probably, whatever was going on behind the scenes, who was hating on him, just what that man stood for and what he brought to this music industry to be, you know, nominated for a Grammy for that album, the positivity, all the stuff that he was doing and preaching to our community. You know, that's bigger than the rest of all of that. And whoever did whatever, that's coward. Like, you get no cool points at all for that.
Whatsoever. Janae, thank you. Well put.
Yes.
And we're going to celebrate with you, Janae, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, love you. You a citizen.
Sway in the morning, sis.
This is Nipsey Hussle featuring Quincy White. Don't take days off.
Yeah, look, all that stress on my brain, right? Poker face, I'm in the game, right? Need a week to think, maybe 8 nights. So promethazine in a straight flight. Let me cut on my phone, let me get in my zone. Let me sit on myself, just leave a nigga alone. I'll be back in a few, got some rapping to do. Got some stacking still running, got some lapping to do. Jokes to the side, niggas know that they ain't fucking with the flow I provide. Y'all. Notice how I started out, the flow has evolved. And me and Rollo Stiles like Wade and LeBron. And it's all money in and your bros is in charge. Hoes a menage for the bros carte blanche. And them out of town suites cause they know we the ones. Equity, nigga, what I've chosen, of course. No 360s, clothing and tour. When I do drop, I'ma blow past niggas and I toe tag niggas like I told them before. Got flow, got horse. Got dope, get more. Fuck mine, get yours. And the show just started, nigga, hold your applause. Try to get to my spot. Look, you gotta go up floors. I put the 6 on stock. I was running through tires like chicks on tour. And if I'm at the game, you can bet your bottom dollar that I sit on floor. And if I'm at the fight, you can bet your bottom dollar sweat hit my whore.
Won't take no loss, won't take days off. We go so hard until we fall. Won't take no loss, won't take days off. We go so hard until we fall. A nigga used to dream, my reality's a dream now. Nigga used to dream, my reality a dream now. I'm living out my dreams now. Living out my dreams now, now.
Sitting in the trap like damn, trying to turn a couple grams to a couple $100 grand. I grew up in the town, they don't make it out up. If you black, you don't live to see a man. You seen 21, you done won the lottery. Talking friends where the streets stand, took a lot from me. I washed up from a robbery. Now your name 4657239B state property. Yeah, you had a dream, now you living out a nightmare. You almost made a little nigga, you was right there. Now your release date is in another light year. Yeah, and it's quite clear, all you needed was a little bit of guidance. In your household, it was just silence. You was your own mother and your father. How the hell you supposed to know what to do when nobody showed you the ropes? All they showed you was pistols and dope. Game flags in the land with no hope. Where every fit of hat mean a different hood. Make it out and they still want you in the hood. Your own homies don't want you living good. Niggas for themselves get it understood. It's just a playground full of mood swings. Die for the color of your shoestrings. Wish I had a different way to view things. You either had a rap book or had a hoop dream. From El Segundo to Slauson. Me and Nips, some young bosses. Never taking no losses. Check the garments, nigga, life marvelous.
Won't take no loss, won't take days off. We go so hard until we fall. Won't take no loss, won't take days off. We go so hard until we fall. A nigga used to dream, my reality's a dream now. Nigga used to dream, my reality a dream now. I'm living out my dreams now. Living out my dreams now, now.
Live and direct. It's Sway in the morning.
Right here on Shade 45.
It's crazy how your heart just has a mind of its own. Oh yeah. Like when a smile it makes the choice on its own. But the funny thing about this heart of mine, it knows what it wants. Yeah. But my mind tries to deny it. But girl, I can't fight what I know, baby. I know I want you, baby. I want you, baby. Said I want you, baby, yeah. Every day, every night, and I'll do anything to make this right. Alright, yeah. Yeah. What up, citizens? This is Luke James, and you're listening to the Sway in the Morning Show, Shade 45. Why? Talk to me. Oh, said I want you, baby. No, 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 no. Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's Sway in the Morning, Shade 45. We're talking about Nipsey Hussle. Couple of things we got to do today that we got to make sure we take care of too. But we're not gonna let this man pass and go in vain. Right. You know, we're gonna celebrate his life, type of person he was. Tracy, you was just mentioning what kind of student he was, some of the things that happened to him in high school, and.
Well, what's crazy when you mentioned how, he invested his money into creating these STEM labs for children who don't have as many opportunities as the fortunate, when he got kicked out of high school and people were trying to accuse him of stealing computers. And he did an interview with Complex and said that was completely not true at all. He had an infatuation with computers, which, is foreshadowing into the work that he did as an adult. But it's crazy, even for one of the local elementary schools, just trying to clean up the way it looks and redoing where they have their recess centers and things of that nature. This man really carried the hood on his back.
Absolutely. Mike Muse, you were saying that he was a perfect role model for those who experience hopelessness. He was that kid at one point, too.
Yeah, he was, man. But you hear him talk about it, he really talks about, there was this moment where he felt hopeless, and that's a sentiment that I believe a lot of young individuals in these neighborhoods feel, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's like, what do I do? How can I be ambitious when I have nothing to look forward to be ambitious with? So then, therefore, I might as well just choose a gang culture that presents this family orientation towards me, right? But what's interesting about him is, technology is actually what saved him, right? It was just his love for computers and his curiosity, and he's one of those individuals, his curiosity saved him, where no one else really did it, but him fixing and rebuilding computers, and he was fixing and rebuilding computers in order to create software in order to do his music, because he didn't have any money to make the music, so he needed to create it on his own. And then he kind of got the entrepreneur spirit, and then you're kind of reflective of his whole business model and how he sold his music and his mixtapes and what he's doing with the stores. And I think people don't understand, and of course you do, Sway, and of course our team here and our citizens understand, but real estate and real estate development and how that actually changes the community, right? That employs, that gives the taxes, that does so much, and that offers the hope, right? That he was missing, right? And so he was able to fill that void, man, and so he was a very powerful individual, bro. So
he revolutionized how people spent their money on music at a time where everybody was giving away their music for free. He said, You gotta pay $100.
I was gonna say, didn't you give him his $100 right here in the studio?
Absolutely.
I gave him $100 because I supported his business model, and it made sense to me.
Yes.
That's your creative spirit, all in that music that you put in. It's worth something to him. So he charged $100, and he sold I don't know how many of those mixtapes.
I remember Jay-Z bought 100.
Yeah, I bought one.
Jay-Z, stop showing off all the time, Jay-Z. We know you got it.
Yeah, it's the Crenshaw mixtape. DB actually got the T-shirt on today.
Yep. Wow,
yeah.
Man, that's crazy. I remember that.
He was saying it was a psychological experiment. I mean, just how he thought.
Yeah.
He was saying that if there is true art and consumers value it, they're willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
And so he said and he understood profits and margins. And so he was saying, if I'm able to produce art that isn't radio friendly, but I'm still able to make money as if I was making art that was radio friendly, I'd rather do it this way so I can do what it is that I love and be authentic with it. Just that mentality alone, to own your authenticity and your identity, man, is very powerful.
He also talked about when he came up here about the backlash, and people were making fun of him for selling his album for $100. They were like, "Is he crazy? What kind of stupid game plan is this?" But then once Jay-Z spent the $10,000 on the 100 copies that he bought, then everybody was like, "He's a marketing genius," and then everybody jumped on board and was,
crazy.
Yeah.
We've been trying to tell, at least I've been trying to tell the citizens for years now. Sway just been backing me up. If you're a creative person, what you have is art, even down to your notebooks.
Yeah.
Stop writing your lyrics in your phones. Your notebooks is artwork. It can sell years and years later. Can you imagine having those lyrics to Big Papa and changes and all these different
the actual notepad.
The actual notepad. What we have is art. We're creating. Start understanding what you're an artist, not just a rap. But don't put yourself in that box. You're an artist. Start understanding everything that you create and produce is art and value it as such.
And as a father, one of the things I admire most about Ermias, if you will, Askadum, a.k.a. Nipsey Hussle, is his, the dedication to his kids and his family. And when you would see him and Lauren London, and they every time you saw him, you saw the synergy, the energy, the chemistry that this man had ascended to this point where he was an incredible role model for those who walked that path and even those who didn't walk the path he did. Me as a father, when I would see that, I'll go, yeah, okay. I take my daughter with me everywhere I go.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that was the hardest conversation I had to have last night was with my child. Yeah. Like, he's the nicest why, and having to deal with these type of these moments in life are extremely hard. And what I told her is we're going to celebrate that man. None of us, time ain't guaranteed. We don't know when our time is coming. But I want to celebrate this man. And to Janae's point, we're not going to let him taint his legacy with just the things that he did in gang culture. We're gonna make sure we control the narrative and talk about the things he did to uplift our community and to inspire people. Muggs, I want to thank you for chiming in this morning.
Thank you, Muggs.
Hey, thank you guys for having me, man. And like you said, Sway, man, let's celebrate the brother, man. I mean, the gang shit, it was what it was, man. Let's talk about what he was doing, during his passing, man. That's more positive, man, because we're not going to stay stuck on that. He was the gang manger and he did this and that, man. Let's celebrate what the young brother was doing, man, because it was positive for his neighborhood, for my neighborhood, just around the country, man, giving young brothers, inspiration to be positive, man, and get out of this shithole, man, that I feel that I helped create, man. This shit is fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucked up, man. So I always try to give back in some kind of way to correct the wrong. It's because this shit spread across the world, man.
Yeah.
Ain't spread across the country.
It's spread across the world. But you know what, Muggs? I've been to Africa. I've been to France. I've been to the UK. I've been to the Netherlands. And Nipsey Hussle is respected on a high level everywhere you go, especially in Africa with its Eritrean roots. And so that's what we're going to celebrate, man. I appreciate you, Muggs, and keep doing the work. I'm going to reach out for you later on, okay?
All right. I love you guys, man.
I love you too.
Love you too, bro.
It's my man Muggs right there.